guys, I hope you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, watching, subscribing, blah blah blah. In this video I want to speak to you guys about a question that a viewer brought up, and I love receiving questions like this from you guys because you guys are so brilliant and you know so much more than I do. I'm only the messenger here. I think I'm always just pulling all your ideas together and bringing them forth. But Christian Brown messaged me and said, Boom, do you think INFJs are philosophers? Because I've noticed this about myself, that when I'm walking around or doing anything, I'm always asking questions and I'm always giving answers and I'm always doing what philosophers do, right? I thought it was such a great idea, or such a brilliant analysis, a brilliant share, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Again, I'm not an expert in philosophy or anything like that, but I do know that I love the idea of being a philosopher. I mean, if I could just sit like those Roman guys or our Greek philosophers used to do, they were just sitting around in a corner with a teacher there and they would just sit and pontificate and discuss all these ideas all day long, and that was their life. If I could just sit and do that with a bunch of people that were really smart and had some kind of similar thought process as me, or different processes that explain something to me, something different. If I could just do that, I would be the happiest person on the planet, right? I think this is one of the reasons I do these videos, is because it gives me a way to do that, to put my thoughts into the world, and then I can kind of talk to you guys about it through the comments and through the messages that you guys send me. Philosophers in general, though, I think they get a bad rap, and I think I've heard this from other people as well, that you think philosophers, you think white dudes, and you think like people who are just high up in their castles and not really grounded in the real world. But as INFJs, we can be one of those people who's up there and out there in an imaginary world and not really grounded in the real world. But the kind of philosopher that I want to be as an INFJ is that person who's practical, who's pragmatic, who's doing the things, who's thinking about all these interesting ideas. I mean, I'll go and think about quantum physics, and I'll think about all these interesting ideas about manifesting and thoughts creating reality. But it's not just theory for me, because I'll always come back to my desk and I'll always try to convert it into a way of applying it into my life, right? How can I use these teachings, these learnings, and use them in a practical manner in my life? How can I always be using these ideas? Because ideas are useless. They're useless. They're just air. They're nothing useful until you actually use it, until you actually put it and use it into your life and kind of apply it into your life. They're absolutely, completely useless, right? And that's not the kind of philosopher I want us to become. And I know sometimes INFJs have this tendency to argue about things just because, for the sake of arguing. I know ENTPs do this a lot. My friends, ENTPs, they just want to argue because they want to argue, right? And so that's fine. They do that. I don't want us to become that kind of person, because I find that puts us in the category of talkers. And I don't want us to become talkers. I want us to become doers. I want us to use this amazing information that's out there in the universe, that's coming at us, that's flowing towards us, and then use it to build ourselves up, to become that most optimal person, that self-actualized human being who's living their ideal lives and who's changing the lives of everyone around them into a better way, right? I just don't want us to be philosophers for the sake of philosophizing. I want us to become, I just don't want us to be theorists. I want us to be pragmatic. I want us to be practical. I want us to use all these interesting ideas that we're always coming up with. And you guys send me a lot of interesting ideas, a lot. I mean, you guys are brilliant, really, really smart people. And I'm always getting all these interesting ideas from you, and I'm always pushing it back upon you. And I'm always messaging you guys saying, okay, so you sent me this idea. How are you going to use it in your life? Now, I try not to do it every single time because I don't want to become that crazy person. But I do know that as much as possible, if someone comes to me and says, okay, this is an amazing idea I had, blah, 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 I'm like, okay, how are you going to use it pragmatically in your life? Are we just going to talk about this shit, or are we actually going to do something with it? And that's always my thing with everything that I do. I don't want to just talk about stuff. It really, really is one of my biggest pet peeves, is when people sit and pontificate about things forever and ever and ever, and you ask them a year later, and did you do anything about that thing that you were really excited about, that thing that you were talking about building, did you do anything about it, did you start anything into it? And and they're like, no, I didn't, I got busy or whatever. I think to myself, you had so much energy, you had so much passion for this particular idea. You were just going gung-ho about it. If you just used a little bit of that energy and put it into starting something, you would have been a billion times further ahead. A billion trillion times, right? And so every single time anyone says or anyone tells me an idea, if I know that they're kind of person who's never going to do anything with it, then I never put any energy into their idea. I will never be like, oh my God, that's amazing, yeah. But if I know that this person is the kind of person that has amazing ideas and they actually make something of it. And I know a couple of people in my life who are like that. There are a couple of women and they're brilliant. And any single time they have an idea, they will make it happen. They'll make something happen out of it. And I look at them and they're beautiful, gorgeous, powerful women. And they're not just sitting on their asses talking about shit, which really, as I said, annoys me. They're actually making stuff happen. They're actually out there making stuff happen. And I look at them and my heart glows and it sings and it makes me happy. And so that's what I want us to become. I love the fact that we're philosophers. I love the fact that I can sit in my room and think about ideas for an eternity. And I can write about stuff and I can think about all these ideas. I can talk to people about it. I can make up all this shit in my head. And it's great. I love being this kind of philosopher. But I also want to become the pragmatic philosopher, if that's not a conundrum, or if it's not opposites, but I want to become that person who talks about all these weird ideas and kind of like pontificates and does all that stuff in her head, but then brings it back down to the ground and really works with it, really does the ideas in her head. It really applies it and tries at it, because not every idea that you're going to get is going to result in something brilliant, right? You might have an amazing idea and you might try at it a little bit, you might put a little bit of thought into it, a little bit of work, and you might realize, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think it's going to work out the way I imagine it. I think I should abandon this idea. That's fine. As long as you tried at it, as long as you put a little bit of effort into it, as long as you try to manifest it, that's all right. Not all ideas are going to come to fruition. I don't know if this makes sense to you guys. I think I went into a lot of random tangents, but I really wanted to share this with you guys because not only because Christian Brown suggested this idea, and I love him for that. Thank you, Christian Brown. But also the fact that, it's such an important question for all INFJs. We have all these powers, we have all these talents and abilities, we have all of these amazing things that we could bring into the world. But a lot of us, instead of actually doing that, we're just sitting, obviously, on our bums in our room, hiding from the world. Now, I understand I hide from the world a lot as well. But I know that I hide from the world, but I also do a lot of the work that I need to do as well. So I balance it out, right? And I want you guys to become like that too. I don't want you guys to waste your talents or abilities. All these amazing things that you guys have inside of you, they're just waiting to come out. And you need to push them out so the world can benefit from it. The world is waiting for your ideas. It's waiting for your talents and abilities. It needs it in order to grow and perpetuate. You're not randomly put on this planet. There's a reason why you specifically got put on this planet at this time of the century. You could have come here at any time, but you're here right now. Why? Because there's something within you that this world needs specifically in order to grow and in order to move forward, right? But if you keep those ideas and talents and abilities within you, then how is the world going to get it? How is the world going to be able to use your amazingness? It won't. And that's a waste, okay? I hope this makes sense to you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. If you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. I'm here to answer all your questions. Comment below. Or you can message me directly, private message me on email or Facebook. All my contact information is in the description below as well. Okay? I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.